Well, good morning, Dan. Thanks for coming in onto the local conversation podcast. It's super important for us to get together with our community members and to see what's going on in their lives. And so I guess let's
Great.
just start with, who are you?
All right. Well, first of all, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
too.
And I'm Dan and McDow, and I was the councilman with West Melbourne, and my term just expired last November.
Okay.
So I had a little extra time on my hands, and I thought I would go ahead and see how I could give back to the community. And I was elected to the chair of the Democratic Party here in Brevard.
Okay.
And then last week I was also elected to the president of Space Coast Progressive Alliance.
My goodness, as if you needed more things to do.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'll tell you, back in December when we first got started, one of the things I wanted to do was go around the community and start to understand who these 120,000 Democrats are.
Yeah.
You know, look at the clubs, the caucuses, and a lot of folks don't know how many caucuses and clubs there are in this town.
Right.
And informal groups, informal settings. So I've been meeting with literally hundreds of individuals one-on-one, listening to and getting some feedback of what they are thinking the Democrats need to do going forward, and or what we've done in the past, and kind of critiquing some of our elections.
Overall, what's the general consensus from people that you're hearing about?
Well, I mean, putting things in perspective, it's almost twofold now. There was prior to the new administration coming in, it was pretty a whole different demeanor. Since the new administration, people are a little naturally they're apprehensive. Lots of changes going on.
Yeah.
And I've been I sense a lot more anxiety since January.
I get that too, yeah.
And nothing, I think people were a little bit nervous about what does this all mean? What does Project 2025 mean? How's that going to impact?
Well, yeah. I mean, we can go so deep into the complexities of Project 2025.
Sure.
You're hearing from local people. They care about not really state or
the
federal level stuff.
Sure.
They're caring more about the affordability here locally.
Sure. The economic challenges is what that's been consistent. I've
Right.
heard that from the get-go since I took this new position back in December. So that hasn't really changed as much. I would say that what's a little bit different is I've had a lot more conversations with all walks of life, all different groups, as far as from the firefighters to the unions to teachers, because
this transcends party lines.
Exactly.
This is not
exactly. I've got some feedback, some constructive criticism on what people see that we could do differently, or how we could approach things differently that might make more sense.
Right.
Because I'm real big on on community, building community, and putting people first, and making sure that.
Well, I know I've been seeing that, and full disclaimer for everybody listening, I am a Democrat as well, and I've played a very central role when I'm doing this. My goal is to really do a listening tour like you've done.
Sure.
And to understand the kitchen table topics that people give a crap about.
Absolutely.
And not focus so much on
the political divide, the political ideology.
I'm not going to entertain that.
I agree. Anthony, we've had conversations about this before. And a lot of those issues are common issues.
Yeah.
Cost of living, insurance, home insurance, rental. I mean, all those things are things that it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on.
No.
So I agree that
and that's one of the bridges that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're trying to bridge that gap.
Oh, absolutely.
Within the organization as well.
Look at the veterans. There'd be a perfect example. The veterans that serve our country they're concerned right now about how is the VA going to be affected? How is this going to, the changes that through the efficiencies, how is that
Yeah.
going to ripple effect here for their services? It doesn't matter which side of the political coin that they're on.
No,
It's it's about they want service.
Yeah, and I try to stay off of, well, I try to not read the comments on social media posts too much,
Sure.
but I do get dragged down that hole sometimes, and I listen to the rhetoric from both sides, and it gets equally frustrating because we want, as Democrats here, we want a centralized message of unity, especially here in Brevard. I mean, you
Sure.
could speak a little bit about the overall mission for the Brevard Dems.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you because that's part of what I do is when I go through these different groups, that's the first thing I start with is our mission for our organization is to elect Democrats into office.
Right.
We shouldn't be apologetic about that. That's who we are. Our ideology sometimes fits with the constituents of an area, and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
As far as making sure that that we're aligned with the voters is really critical.
Yeah.
You know,
So when you're not doing all of this stuff, what do you do? I mean, you're finding time for yourself?
Absolutely. Well, I'm a sibling. I have 9 siblings, so I mean that keeps me plenty busy. As a matter of fact, my sister was just texting me right before I came in here. It's Friday. How you doing?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
So yeah.
Well, for us, it's early release day for school, so in just a few short hours, we'll be going to pick up the kids already.
But it's really a way of life, though. For example, tomorrow's a League of Women's Voters bunco.
Okay, tell us
brunch.
about this. Where's this
It's
at?
a fundraiser. It's out in Cocoa tomorrow.
Okay.
So be doing that. And actually, I came here today to work on my presentation for a women's club in Palm Bay tomorrow morning, right before that. So a lot of what I do seems to interrelate. I try. My fun is all tied to my work as well. And,
I mean,
some of us can do
to
that.
each their own.
Yep, absolutely.
So the thing in Cocoa, what is this about? What's the goal for that?
Well, I think the League of Women's Voter is a nonpartisan organization.
Right.
That's what I pride myself because I did that when I was a councilman.
Right.
We were nonpartisan, and I know how to work with others, and I think it's important. And especially you do that in business. We've been practicing in business. Nobody really kind of keeps track of which side of the coin, which side of the aisle
This
you're
is
on.
true with most things except politics.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the military, the soldier next to you is not like, are you a Republican or are you a Democrat?
Right.
I mean, these are non-issues only until it gets to voting time.
Well, I think we realize that we have a lot more in common than not.
Right.
And I think that's worth repeating because I think people sometimes
so there's
forget
that, and there's a lot more that unites us than divides us.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's important to.
But let's not be unrealistic in that we can agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the big issues for us is that how we approach that.
Right.
How if I come to you and say you're wrong, I'm right, or you're stupid and I'm not, then immediately people get turned off by that.
Walls
So I
get
think
built.
It's about respectful opposition.
Yeah. Right.
And I think what I've experienced in the last few years is seeing how we've elevated that, and it seems to the point of where people sometimes forget that these are our brothers, our sisters, and our uncles and our aunts. So just because we disagree doesn't mean that we don't care about people. So I think let's kind of.
I mean, what I've seen you accomplish with your listening tours, your organizational meetings, all of these things that I've seen you do so far, I've been very pleased, and I know I've also heard other people that are very pleased. So I think as an organization, we're moving in the right direction. I don't even have to say to you, I think we need to start reaching across the aisle and figuring out how we can solve problems together.
Well, it's and I have to practice what I preach. If I say that I want to build community, then I have to be prepared to go in places that I'm not necessarily comfortable with.
Right.
And there was an event, and I won't get into too much details, but I just got a call the other day from someone that is typically not something that I would have gone to, but I was invited, and I accepted that offer, and I think that's how it works.
So so it sounds like maybe they're extending olive branches as well in their own little way.
I think that
they meaning the Republicans.
Yeah, I believe that there's a point that we've all reached that said, how much more can we do? How's that working for us?
How's the discourse?
How's that working for both sides of the
Yeah.
equation? And I think that people are a little bit tired of it, and they want to get to business. They want to do the right thing for our constituents, and that's what we can't lose sight of.
Yeah.
Because we're working for the people.
Right.
And as long as we keep that in mind and we remember that our core mission is to make sure that we take care of people.
And actually, I just got a notification the other day. I posted on Facebook about it. The closing of the hospital up in Rockledge.
Sure.
And, I commented and I was just like, it's really upsetting to me that decisions like this that decision will affect a lot of healthcare workers that worked there, even if they were given some sort of notice ahead of time. I still feel strongly that our leaders in the community need to figure out ways to make it less damaging in our community.
Sure.
Because I just can't imagine what, again, even with 90 days notice, is what I'm reading that they're getting.
Well, if you look at the industries in this area for Brevard County, healthcare is one of the largest, if
Right.
not the largest industry.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of people depend on healthcare either to receive the benefits of it or to be working and
Yeah.
providing services.
And I understand that this facility was actually very dilapidated and it needed far more help.
I'm not sure that I would describe it as dilapidated, but it was in need of some repair.
Okay.
I think that there was never a question of, hopefully never a question of safety issues.
Right.
And that there are minimums that you can provide health care without
I
compromising safety.
I hope they get this figured out, especially for the workers, because that upsets me, and I'm not even I don't work there.
Well, I'm familiar with the organization because of my involvement with the unions, and I know that was a union shop.
Okay.
So I do know folks there, and I have heard firsthand the issues around things such as elevators not working, things of that
can be
sort. So those
dangerous.
are delays, and yes, we don't think about that. But in healthcare, it's a little different,
Mm-hmm.
and not a little, it's really different.
Yeah.
Because it is about, making sure that you are taking care of people and, services.
Yeah.
They're not compromised.
How long have you lived in Brevard?
Since 2010. Moved
20
here in
oh, 2010. Okay.
Yep. So this is 15 years.
All right.
And
From
from Des Moines, Iowa.
Iowa. Okay.
Iowa. Well, before that, I was in Kansas City, and then up in Chicago.
Okay, Chicago.
So
Okay.
Chicago's the home, and
Yep. The
it's
Windy
my home
City.
and-
Okay.
The Windy City.
I mean, you don't really have the hair for that to matter, but
Yeah, that's
um,
why I'm wearing a hat today.
hats are your favorite thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so, one of 9 siblings.
Yeah, 9 siblings. Nice Irish Catholic family.
That grocery bill must suck
Yes.
when you were growing up.
Well, you learn to have soup a lot. Soup
A
and
watered
stews.
down soup.
Yeah, well, spaghetti soup.
Okay. That's funny. That's funny.
Yes, you make things. I always think about, like, if you're making meatloaf, and I thought you were putting the oatmeal in it for flavor. It's to stretch.
Oh, it's
It's
right.
to stretch.
To
And so,
make it last a little longer. Yeah,
the family secrets.
Yeah, Amber and I have 5 kids, and we have. I mean, definitely not 9 of us. 9 kids, but 5, and that's always been very entertaining. One kid's always sick,
Sure.
and
Well, it's what I believe, growing up as the fifth of the 10, is that it makes you humble.
Yeah.
And because you can't take yourself too serious when you have 9 siblings, they kind of put you in your place.
Right.
And the older kids, the older siblings will tell you, basically how it is. The younger ones will tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. So,
Well, being in the middle,
yeah. But I do think that it does keep you in check. It's the typical stuff. Don't dish it out if you can't take it. Or
yeah, lots of wrestling.
yes.
How many boys?
Yeah, there were 6 boys and
Oh, lots of testosterone in
4
there.
girls. Yes.
Yeah.
But some of my sisters can handle
They
themselves
can handle
just fine. I was kind of the runt of the, of the string. All my brothers.
You tapped out first.
Yeah, my
Okay,
brothers
you're like, I'm
are
done.
Even
See you later.
even my younger brothers are taller. She might have been smoking. I'm not sure.
I know. Oh, that's cool. Well,
Anthony,
got
thank
do
you
have
for
any-
everything that you're doing. I think
I'm-
it's wonderful. I think
Yeah.
these local conversations are a good thing for the community. They need to hear firsthand that
Yeah.
we're all in this together.
We are.
We've got work to do.
Right.
I can't emphasize enough right now that the challenges of our economy are, to me, the number one focus. I know that we've got a lot of this periphery going on with the current administration and the changes of the efficiency and all
Right.
that. And there are demonstrations and rallies, and I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect, respectful opposition. I do feel that we need to hone in on what are the problems, what are the issues at hand, and let's get moving.
Right.
Let's figure out solutions.
Right. All while, my opinion has always been with the input of the people.
Absolutely.
We need them at the table.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
um,
Slinging mud or making derogatory remarks is not going to help.
right. Or just
At this
parroting
point.
what you hear on national media.
Well, exactly.
Because
exactly.
no matter
think-
where it's coming from, we have to question if it's true or not.
Well, that whenever you look at improving anything, you make sure that you find out, is it fact or is it fiction? Is it real or is it imagined? You
Yeah.
want to make sure you have a good sense of a starting point before you start to address the issue at hand. And I think that's what we need to do is really take a good hard look at what's really going on here.
A lot.
And there's a lot of emotional
That
because
is. Yeah.
people are apprehensive right now, as they should be.
Right.
A lot's going on.
Yeah. Do you have any big events going on as far as the Dems are concerned?
Well,
You got anything?
we always
I
have.
know, yeah.
Everything we do is
I don't
good.
know if you saw my post this morning, but I made a joke about the Democrats locally here. I said if the Democrats were in charge here,
Sure.
there wouldn't be a plethora of dentists, car washes, and other things. There'd be a
Okay.
lot of sign shops and kava bars. And
Well, I'm not sure how to respond to that one
you
because
don't need to.
I'm not sure about. I can agree on the printing and the signs. I'm not sure about the
kava bar?
Kava bars.
Well,
so,
I like to think that a lot of Democrats are earthy individuals.
great.
And so,
Yeah.
us earthy people,
Yeah. But it's okay to make light of that.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely.
we should
We
own it.
Democrats are very expressive.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're misunderstood.
Right.
And sometimes we get a little crazy. There's extremes on all sides, and
Yes.
sometimes we gotta throttle it back a little bit and make sure our message is clear.
Yeah.
And that our what we're trying to, because at the end of the day, we are all trying for the same goal. Would
This
you
is
agree?
how we
that's
get there.
what we're trying to do.
Right.
And we'll work on the print shop stuff a little bit.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Or either that, or we'll start investing in it.
Maybe. I don't. Hey, don't spread that too much.
But,
So what do you have going on? The next big
well,
item.
Well, we have, there's always, this town is full of festivals. There's this the seafood festival in Grant.
Okay.
We'll be
Yep,
there.
That's a big one.
will be at the Unity for Community
Yep.
in Provost Park in Cocoa.
Correct. Okay.
I'll be this weekend at the Key Lime Festival.
Ooh.
Yep.
I saw a billboard for Strawberry Fest. Are the Dems doing anything there?
That's a little bit further.
That's further out.
Further out.
Okay.
Yes, that's on the radar.
Cool.
So those types of activities, it's really important
Yeah.
because we need to make sure that we have our brand. And
Right.
what I'd like to be able to do is, I think we've talked about this in the past, of making sure that, it's kind of like that when used to be where your name is so important. That's what you have. Well, the brand of the Brevard Democrats, my goal is to make sure that it's looked at in a positive light.
Right.
And that people see it as something that we can sit there
Yeah.
and work together to accomplish the same goals.
I
think
it.
having it at various events is the way to do it.
Yeah. And maybe even starting to do more community type outings where we help individuals that may need it, or
Well, that would mean having fun. So I'm not sure.
We're not allowed to have fun.
No.
Okay.
Well, we've got a little work to do first.
Work
Yeah,
first.
Get that
then
done,
fun.
then we can have
Okay.
fun.
Well, I'd be excited for all of that.
Yeah.
So
It's in the queue.
it's in the queue. Great. Well,
Yeah, because I don't know who's going to listen to this. We got to make sure they know. Yes.
I hope lots
that's-
of people are going to listen to this.
Yes.
I mean, this is.
Yeah. Well,
But thank you. This
You're
has
welcome.
been great, and
Very
I'll let
good.
you
get back
get
to it.
back to it.
Okay.
And
Well, I appreciate you for everything you're doing, Anthony.
thank
Very
you.
good.
This
You
is
keep the
your
Yance
local
family-
conversation.